Did you get carried just a little bit away this spring and plant one too many jalapenos? Yeah, me neither. But if you've been wondering what you can do to preserve your jalapenos that you totally didn't overplant, not at all, I've got a great recipe for you. Candied jalapenos, or cowboy candy, is absolutely delicious, and I'm going to show you how to make it after I finish picking.
Gonna be here a little bit.
No, of course not. No, just a few seconds. Just a few seconds. Alright, so let's make some cowboy candy. Ignore Sky, she wants to play ball, but we're not doing that right now. So I've got 1.5 pounds of jalapenos that have been sliced in rings. Now, if you want something a little less spicy, you can go with a sweet pepper instead. But if you like spicy, this is a really yummy way to use up your jalapenos. I've got 3 cups of sugar. We're using raw, use whatever you want. A cup of apple cider vinegar. A 1/4 of a teaspoon of turmeric and celery seeds. A whole teaspoon of garlic powder, and no, excuse me, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic. No, I was right, teaspoon. And a teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt. You can use whatever salt you like. We just like this because it adds some lovely minerals back into our recipes. And we're going to need a nice pot and a spoon. I like paddle spoons for my canning recipes, but use whatever you have. And we're ready to move over to the stove. So I'm going to put the jalapenos to the side for a second, and we're going to add all of our other ingredients to our pan. Put it all in there. This is really yummy on everything from pizza to hamburgers, tacos. You can even add it on cream cheese and eat it with crackers. However you like to eat your jalapenos and you want just a little bit sweet and salty, this is perfect. Alright, we're going to put this on the stove and we're going to bring it to a boil and let it boil for 5 minutes to make our syrup. Alright, so while our syrup is coming to a boil and the sugar is dissolving, we're going to go ahead and prep our jars. We're going to wash these, get them sterilized and dried and back and ready to use. We're also going to prep our area. We're going to need some towels to put our jars on once they're out of the canner. We're going to be steam canning. You could also boiling water can this. I'm going to walk you through and explain the difference when we get there. But let's get these clean.
I was waiting.
Alright, so it's reached a boil. We're going to let it boil for 5 minutes. I'm going to set the timer. I'm horrible at keeping track of time like that. We're just going to let it be. Keep stirring it every once in a while so it doesn't stick, and then once the 5 minutes is up, we will add our jalapenos to this mix. Alright, so I've got a minute left on our timer. I've got my jalapenos ready here to go in, and as soon as our timer goes off, we're just going to gently dump them into here. Don't splash yourself, this is hot. And then we're going to reduce our heat and stir. So I'm going to go ahead and dump these in. Just a note, there are different variants of heat in jalapenos. So whether you want it a little bit milder or a little bit hotter, check your variety. These ones are quite spicy. So I'm just going to stir these so they're well coated in our syrup. Ooh, can smell the spice. This is going to be absolutely delicious. Now I like to let mine get back to a boil before I pull it off and we start ladling into jars. You just want to keep it moving so nothing sticks, because it is quite syrupy down there. You can do more than one batch at a time, but I'm just, for demonstration, using one batch. Right about now is a great time to get your canners boiling. I'm going to be using our steam canner, so we're just going to fill up the base of it and then put it on the eye and start heating. The lid will go over our jars when we are ready to start the process. We will let the steam build up, and on the top there's a gauge. Once it hits green, we'll start our processing time. For a boiling water canner, it's pretty much the same. We're just going to fill up a large stock pot with water and bring it to a boil. Make sure you have something at the bottom so your jars do not clink when they go in and hit the bottom. The boiling can often break it if there's nothing down there. Alright, almost there. The ducks are quite chatty now. Alright, so I'm going to pull this off the heat and set it on this wedding cutting board so we can easily work from it. We've got a ladle, we've got a canning funnel, and we're going to need a paper towel to wipe the tops of our rims. Alright, this is really easy, but it's hot. Watch your arms while you're ladling. You're just going to get a scoop and drop it through the funnel into your jar. You're going to want to leave a ½ inch of headspace. And we're going to remove any air pockets in there, and I like to shove the jalapenos back under the syrup because inevitably there's always one or two that are sticking up. Alright, we're just going to wipe this rim and place our lid on top and a ring. Finger tighten that down and it is ready to go in our canner. As you can hear, Sky is a little upset about being in her cage right this second, but she'll be okay. We're just going to repeat this process all the way through. Alright, so each recipe makes about 5 half pints. Push that down. And if you have any brine left over, it makes a fantastic salad dressing. I got a little bit too much in this jar. There we go. Anyway, it makes a great salad dressing or dressing for pasta salad. You can even use it on like chicken if you're cooking chicken. It's really delicious. There we go. Alright, this is ready for our canner, which has been preheating, and we're going to pop it in and get it started. This is our fruit saver steam canner. We've added the water to the bottom of our pan. We like to do it just to the rim. You can see this bottom tray. You're going to fill the water line to that bottom tray. Mine is just a touch over, but that's alright. And then we're just going to add our jars. We preheated this, so there's not going to be a temperature shock. Nothing's going to break. We're just going to add these to our canner, put the lid on top, and as you can see there's a gauge right here. Right now we are in the blue, and we're going to crank our heat up to high and get it in the green. Alright, so this is the gauge on the Fruit Saver steam canner, and depending on your altitude it's going to determine your zone. We are in the outer zone. Our needle's currently in the blue, but you can sort of see it inching forward. We're looking for it to be in the green. Then we're going to reduce our temperature to low and start our processing time. Alright, the gauge is in the green. I've reduced our heat and set our timer for 10 minutes. And this is going to be the same time for boiling water canner. We're just not going to want to reduce the heat. Alright, so our timer is up. We're going to turn our heat off, remove our pot from the burner that's on, and let it sit for another 5 minutes just to begin cooling down before we open it up and remove our jars. For a boiling water canner, you can skip this stage and just remove your jars straight to a nice dry towel. You want it a couple thicknesses deep so it doesn't burn your counter, and then you're ready to roll and just let your jars start cooling. But for the steam canner, we're going to pull it off the heat. Our timer has gone off. We're ready to open this up. I've got my jar grabber. This is going to protect your fingers and help you to grip jars safely. If you don't have one of those, you're going to pinch. A hot pan holder will work, but these are way better. Alright, so we're just going to open this up. You want to make sure you open it away from you so the steam doesn't get your arm or your face. And then we're going to move our jars over to our nice dry towel. They're already popping. That's a great sign. So we're just going to gently pinch these around the jar and then move them to our towel. And the popping is your jar sealing. Nothing to worry about. That is music to a canner's ear. Means you got a nice seal, and that these will be good to store in your pantry and not have to go in your fridge for immediate consumption, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you do hate wasting the lids. Alright, so we're just going to leave these here for about 24 hours. We're going to let them cool completely, and then we can label them. We like to date ours so we can work through our inventory and move through the oldest first, and then keep the newer ones on our shelves for a little bit longer. And that's it. And that's how you make candied jalapenos, or cowboy candy as we like to call them. Our recipe will be down below along with everything that we use, so you can get the links and shop the video. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, like it, leave a comment if you have any questions, and we will do our best to answer it. And we will see you next time at the cottage.